What is up? What is up? What is up? And we are live. My arm hurts from my COVID shot, by the way.
Oh, you got vaccinated.
I got my vaccines.
Hells yeah. I
I'm
do like
jealous.
Yep. I'm all done.
By the way, guys, this is episode number 1 of recorded actual podcast style. So we will be putting this up as audio. That's why it says episode 1. We have been doing this for significantly more, but this will be the first time that we're actually going full podcast audio mojo.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. We obviously have been doing some stuff. So we've been having some fun. So Gentleman Gaming kind of, got born. I don't know where it exactly got born, but Nick Rose, me, Brad, we're all talking about creating a group of...
I was born in the darkness.
Playing by intent. Playing by intent and how important playing by intent is. And we were like, yeah, we should be, a gentleman's game. And that's kind of how the whole thing got started. And then we were like, hey, with COVID going on, we should, hang out weekly. that turned into Daniel joining the podcast on a regular basis because he loves to hang out with us. Thank you for being here, Daniel.
Thank you for having me. And I don't enjoy hanging out with you as much as you think, but
such a lie. Daniel reaches out all the time. So Daniel only says that right now because it's starting to be sunlight by him. But in the winter, he calls me at all hours and he's like, man, I miss you so much, man. I don't like the darkness here, man. Can we talk, please? And now he's all like, I don't need you.
I do love the fact that it's a tradition here in Gentleman Gaming, those of you that see us live, that apparently we just get completely trolled as usual. I love the first thing was I said why it's listed as episode number 1. And he's like, I hear, why, that doesn't sound right. And the immediate quote in the chat was, yeah, it should be less. So
good.
Episode
0.5
chat, and you guys basically delivering elbows off the top ring rope on me for everything.
Yep.
So that's what we do.
But the podcast in general, for those who might tune on in new forms of media that have not been on our Facebook, we just kind of really just talk about 40K crap. That's pretty much it. So we discuss kind of new armies, new codexes, how tournaments should be, could be, how much Daniel loves corporate 40K, how Brad thinks that Warhammer's application that Games Workshop made is the biggest mistake ever and should have never been created, and how I tell him, just give it a chance. Just give it a chance, man. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's the what we take our.
And then every once in a while, we
I can't even go any farther.
Every once in a while, we talk about noodling and rattlesnakes. Sometimes dragons. So
Daniel knows every poisonous snake in the world, and that is the things we focus on. We really try to get
Daniel, I realize that you obviously know this. I mean, it's clear as day for you. I mean, this is like telling someone, "Hey, I realize the sky is blue." Like, I understand that, Daniel. But the rattlesnake, if it's a single vertebrae all the way consecutively down, it's venomous. And if it breaks, it's not venomous. I found that out. Like in the scales.
I didn't know that.
Oh, wow. Really? Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So any venomous snake will have a continuous vertebrae, like a single vertebrae across its belly all the way down, like a viper has, like a cobra has.
I literally wish the podcast people could see my face of what the fuck right now.
I'm just talking about.
Why do we know this?
I'm just talking about venomous snakes, man. I don't understand what the problem is here. It's good for you to know that.
Just keeping it real.
Just
keeping it real. I am psyched up to see some people's list today because I got my mojo on. I feel I'm ready. I'm focused. I stretched out so I didn't pull a hammy or anything, and I'm ready to chat.
Yep, that's something we also do.
Get a lot of venomous lists.
Ooh,
venomous lists.
Well, Dark Eldar venomous lists. If your Dark Eldar army has a single vertebrae in the belly side, it is venomous. If we see a separation, then we know you're going against the norm and you are no longer a threat to our life. So we're not scared of you at that point. Just a bitch ass snake. So yeah.
I'm super juiced. I've been playing test games with the Dark Eldar guys, and feels good. It's fast. I want to go fast. It's Ricky Bobby.
It's a really fun army to play, and it feels like every unit basically in the codex is viable. So it's really fun to build lists as well.
And the
Yeah, I
fact that
think
mandrakes
Daniel, are
are
you
now
trying
good.
not to build a list with witches, by the way, before Brad
Yeah.
goes on his mandrake rant?
Yeah,
Dude,
I'm
mandrakes are the
staying away
shit.
from witches.
Why? They're so good.
I know, that's why I'm staying away from
But
them.
like they're also fun though. Like they're good and fun. Like the succubus is just fun. Like all the attacks you can get in a succubus, it can move in its own way. Doesn't care about where units are.
I know. Now I'm trying to make other things work.
Okay.
It's and also since I have sort of I'm not allowed K models until everything is painted. I'm actually quite light on wishes. I have like 5 and 1 succubus, so that's also a reason.
It's also a reason. Well, you know how Brad feels about it. Why why make a list that out of things you have when you can make a list out of things that you can beg, borrow, or steal? I mean, come on, let's talk about real lists, guys. I'm like,
That's pretty true for you.
come on,
Actually.
dog, come on.
So how many
Well,
mandrakes are you actually running, Brad?
10, 2 units of 5.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. I think it feels like a sweet spot for playing missions, and
Yeah, they just feel like
the
an
fade
automatic
away thing is really nice.
huge.
Yeah,
Just
and-
forward
and-
deploying is so strong.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that if you have the ability to take it, to have something that does that, I think it's just an auto take.
Or block
It's-
somebody else that's doing it, or
Yeah,
or
exactly.
harass the unit they try to scout in, like infiltrators or nurglings and stuff like that. Being able to address those things early on.
And they're fairly,
It's really
they're
nice.
just their stat line is fairly decent. I mean, they're still very they're super fragile, but I mean they are -1 a hit. They come with an invuln. They have the ability, if they even survive a turn, they can just go into deep strike and then they can come down somewhere where you need them. So they can do
Yeah.
a secondary. They can block out again. They can shore up your backfield or something. Because you're pushing forward. They operate. The army itself just operates on a lot of different layers, basically, as far as how you can send things in. They're just very, very fast.
Yeah. There's
So
a cap
there's,
on this
there's
bottle.
lots to be said.
No, so let's talk about Dark Eldar and the impact it has on the game. So
let us discuss the state of the game.
The state of the game. I am actually super excited for Dark Eldar to enter because of the fact that it changed. We had 2 codexes that had very similar playstyles. You had Dark Angels and you had Death Guard back to back, and those basically just set that grind them out, kind of take secondaries that you just sit and hang out. And Dark Eldar offer a huge, completely different play style. You had super rock solid armies you couldn't kill, and Dark Eldar are literally rolling into combat with a G-string and big hair and just driving 100 miles an hour. And there's super different problems. And I think it's going to change people's armies because of the fact that you can't keep bringing the exact same thing, because Dark Eldar will be very, very good against your army that only has a few multi-meltas and whatnot. If you don't have the volume of attacks to deal with ridiculous MSU Dark Eldar army, you're going to have some problems. And I think that's going to shift the meta to be able to deal with them, and then to be able to deal with the things that people put in their armies to deal with. Because I think they're actually going to make a lot of armies better against a lot of other things. Because you make your army better against Dark Eldar, it actually gets a lot better against Horde and everything else. You know what I mean? Because you just put in more shots.
Yeah.
Why aren't we making? That's the best quote today. Why aren't we making team angry?
No, it's team sad if Brad's captain. I like that one. That's my favorite. But I don't think
Sad.
Brad's ever sad about anything. I've seen Brad like, oh man, I should get like a little button on my little thing over here that says like story time. I'm
always ready.
I'm gonna have to add that. Brad's always happy, even when he's got like no energy in him, and he's like dying. It's like
I'm ready to chat. I'm ready to talk. Well, especially when we're talking about stuff like this. If you're not happy playing with your plastic toys, I mean, come on, man.
Thoughts, Daniel. State of the game. What does Dark Eldar do to the mix right now? How is it different than the other codexes that have come out so far? What is it going to shake up? Should people who have no intent of playing Dark Eldar or buying Dark Eldar or building Dark Eldar, should they still have, at least some level of understanding what the army does going into an event?
Yeah, for sure.
Why?
For sure. I think it's a very solid codex with a lot of options and a bag full of tricks. So I think you really need to understand the speed and the damage that they deal because you're going to be overwhelmed if you don't. So I definitely think you need to understand the codex, even if you're not going to, because I think it's going to be a top tier codex for a while.
First impressions with Dark Eldar, bigger or equal or less than impact to the meta versus Dark Angels?
Bigger, because Dark Angels and Death, for me, because Dark Angels and Death Guard, while different armies pose very similar threats.
But you would agree that Dark Angels have a couple of extra little tricks that Death Guard don't
Dark
have.
Angels
right?
are the number. Yeah. I would argue the number one Marine army right now.
Yeah.
But they're a completely different play style than Dark Eldar are. So I think that basically, if you're like, hey, Dark Eldar are very strong, Dark Angels are very strong, the tools that you need to deal with those are very different in your armies. So I think they will change the meta more than they did before, than you have seen before.
Also, if you know Marines, you sort of know the units. So it's less new units to figure out what they're doing, even if they're doing stuff differently. Dark Eldar, it's a ton of units, and I think all of them are going to be fielded. So it's relevant to understand what they're doing.
We get sidetracked occasionally because I'm, as most people know if you've met me before, I have the attention span of a small child.
Squirrel.
Exactly.
Squirrel.
I look over and I'm thinking I'm going to get something that I'm going to share with the podcast guys about the meta. And I'm like, what's the meta? It starts off with, guys, Dark Eldar shifts the external meta towards more of and I'm thinking this is going to be a very insightful post. And then the rest of it is more of a BDSM cosplay environment. I think that's going to improve most events. So my thoughts went somewhere completely else. That's pretty. I was just like, well, alrighty then.
I liked it. I liked every moment of it. So what are your thoughts then so I get the damage input and I get the differences that you guys are drawing between Dark Eldar and Dark Angels. What are your thoughts then for lists similar to Tyler DeVry's horses list, where he's just trying to rush up, he's just trying to take board presence, and he's trying to slow you down from scoring turns 2 and 3 and then make 4 and 5 difficult, playing that out a little bit? But what do you think Dark Eldar does to those? Because I think Dark Eldar might have the mobility and the damage to counter lists similar to that. What are your thoughts?
It depends. That's going to be a very big board dependent, depending on what kind of board you have, because the horses are deceptively have a lot of damage against things that have shit saves. Dark Eldar is still a glass cannon.
Correct, but that goes both ways though, right? Even for the horses. And Venom's put out more firepower than anything the DKK is going to put out. They're moving and running and then moving and running.
Well,
and just taking
like
a board.
Grenade strat, they're going to run up with 9 or 10 horses and do 10d6 grenade hits. They have actually fairly decent volume of attacks, which does okay versus things like Marines. But man, against somebody that's got poor toughness, poor save, you're going to peel a lot of guys. I think that would be a bloodbath, and it would be a fun game to play.
Would it be fair to say though that the DKK and the Horsies and Astra, their approach to get the movement they need to block the board, they give up a lot of the shooting capabilities, whereas Dark Eldar has the same mobility but still has the lethal firepower at the same time? That's what I would argue. I don't know if you guys would agree.
They have a little more wound volume. What are your thoughts on that, Daniel? That's a good question. That's a really good question.
No, but I mean, obviously, everything in Raiders or Venoms are sort of taking away a little bit from that horse army, because you can't really move block in the same way and so on. But it's actually also the only game I've lost with Dark Eldar so far was against DKK horses. So because I was so occupied killing everything else that dealt damage, I didn't have time to kill the horses.
Yeah, but Daniel, if that's one game, right? And that was practice. Yeah. If you go back now and you do target the horses to take out the board presence early on, not worry about the rebuttal as such in the beginning. And also, let's just assume that you don't handicap yourself and you play the best Dark Eldar army you can make, right? Let's make that assumption real quick, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does that do to the matchup? Because I would argue that, Tyler came in and played an army list very similar to what I did when I came in with the Death Copta, the Chinork War Copta army. And like it had its time and place, but the window for that type of style is probably going away, is my argument, because of the fact that Dark Eldar both have mobility and damage. So that's my question back.
I don't know.
How do you feel?
Because
about
of the
that?
fact that they do, they're very difficult still to peel because it's such a volume of wounds. And because of the fact that they have a volume of attacks and shots and whatnot off, and that are they're like low quality shots, but they become high quality versus Dark Eldar. So
if he has or the stuff that are good opening up the raiders and venoms, which he had because he had he had sisters with multi-melta, which are awesome at that. So I think it would be an interesting game. I hear what you're saying, Alan. I can sort of agree, but I'm not 100% sure Dark Eldar would laugh at that matchup because his army is really good.
Maybe not laugh, but do you think the advantage would be still on the – because I think the horse's advantage in the normal meta today, where most players are bringing a army that can resist dying, hold table, hold positioning, hold objectives, take the center, hold 2 on their side, kind of win the game of attrition. Most lists are going with that route. I feel like the list Tyler brought goes a totally different route. It's like, I'm not even going to let you set up. Right? I'm going to stop you from setting up. Your whole thing is to set up and not be killed. I'm going to say, nope, you don't get to set up. And by the time you do set up, it's too late. You can't win the game. That's his approach. So I that's why I'm just saying
it's less viable. Dark Eldar, since they have fly on everything basically, and can jump over and aren't blocked in the same way by the horses. So they're harder to move block, of course. So yes, it sort of breaks that list a little bit because they have fly on all their transport.
Did you guys feel that the Dark Eldar... Sorry, go ahead, Brent. What were you going to add?
No, it's just the fact that Dark Eldar are very, very good, but they're still fragile, though. That's my thing is that if you put a volume of whatever into it, the wheels can still fall off the Dark Eldar army. You know what I mean? It's a very, very good army, but again, you know what I mean? There's still a lot of T3 people with shit saves.
Yeah.
They've got some vehicles. Their vehicles aren't super durable either. They're more durable than they used to be, the Raiders especially, because they gain that toughness. But you're still looking at things that just don't stand up. They're still as killable as they used to be. They just hit much, much harder. So
yeah, it's actually really nice. I think Games Workshop managed to build a glass cannon army because, like, if you look at Harlequins before, everyone has been going like, yeah, they're so easy to kill. It's glass cannon. They're durable as hell.
They're really durable,
they're glass cannon at all.
Yeah, they're not glass cannon. And I wouldn't say they're really that much of a cannon either, too. They're very toolboxy. No. They're very toolboxy, right? So depending on what you're going against, the right unit for the right job, right? But yeah, I would agree with you. But I think Dark Eldar's been like that for a while. Like even the 3rd edition codex, I remember Grappondo used to fit, like 38 so Dark Lances in a list, right? I remember the famous Nick Rose Stampa game of like 2008 versus Grappondo. Nick Rose went first, and he had a Dark Eldar army of like I think Nick had like 42 Dark Lances in a list. Everything was literally glass, other than the fact that his cannon was 42 Dark Lances in the army, and Grappondo just went with that custom Stampa and shot that Psychodaka Blasta, like literally didn't roll doubles for 46 rolls and went through this guy's army just blowing up everything. Raider dead. Then he jumps to a unit within 12. That Raider dead. Then he jumps to a unit within 12. That Raider dead. And as long as he didn't roll doubles, he kept going. Everything died. I think they've been a glass cannon for a while, but I think the mobility that they have, the table being smaller, and the damage output, I think, does shake things up. So I would agree with you guys on that. Did you guys think any of the secondaries in the book were something that you think is good?
Bad.
No, nothing smashing. They're like, huh.
Yeah,
I would agree, right? Marines still, I think, have the best secondaries out of all the new codexes. The Marines really...
Yeah, Marines and Dark Angels.
Yeah, and Dark Angels are Marines. Yeah, I think Necrons and Dark Eldar didn't get as good of secondaries in comparison.
I think the Dark Eldar secondaries are if they would change the wording a little bit, a couple of them would be decent. But like the kill ones, if they were just straight up kill points per kill, they're points per kill per round. You know what I mean? You can get like a maximum score. So it's they're not great secondaries. I can't imagine myself taking the excuse me, the Dark Elder.
Any crazy warlord traits, or what's your favorite cabal? Build a cabal, or one of the types, or
Technomancer is just
Coven Dark Technomancer is super nice.
Strife for witches, because the fact that Strife got their immediate supplement of Book of Rust came out also, so they got some great warlord trait strats and and then
that's actually one of the things I thought was a little bit boring with the book. There weren't that many relics or warlord traits that were wow.
I mean, I don't know, the competitive edge with Dark Lotus with the Razor Flails is whack right now.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know how it works, basically.
Yeah, walk through that, Brad.
So every attack that doesn't go to the deal damage step, so basically anything that doesn't do wounds, you know what I mean, goes back into the pool to roll again. Well, because of the way they're using Razor Flails, which means that every attack becomes 2 attacks. Yeah. So everything you put back, so anything you didn't do a wound with becomes 2 more attacks. Yeah. And then you were starting with a shit ton of attacks in the first place because you take, you can give the +1. I mean, there's plenty of ways that you can do this, but you're looking at just a huge amount of attacks because you're looking at a minimum of 12 attacks when you started with. And then that if you don't wound it with any of them, that becomes 24, you know what I mean? But then you've got more stuff that can do that. So she can literally just murder a huge horde of things because it's just so crazy with that. So
I think the coolest new thing, Daniel, to go back to your point earlier, that you thought it was kind of lackadaisical, the new stuff that came out, but there is now an ability to pile in after close combat in any direction you want.
Show stealer, so good, dude.
I mean, that is crazy. I think
student history.
Yeah, I think that is like one of the coolest pivots that this codex is bringing to the game as a whole. Something that we haven't seen yet. Something that there is nothing like it.
You basically have that in Harlequins, though, even though it's not exactly the same.
You had it. It's student history. It's from the old Iron Hands had it.
Yeah,
they do have it.
But having it on a character though is really good in the Dark Eldar book, I think, especially like a succubus.
Oh, because you can bounce back. It's so big because you basically do it before it's so good on the attack because you charge in, hit something, and then leave before you get attacks back. So that's the biggest thing on that is you just hit it and then you go. Another combo though, I really like precision strikes a lot. That every time you roll a 6 to wound, you do your weapons damage in mortals.
Yeah.
And you can put that on a 2 or 3 damage weapon. I mean, you could put it on like the whip, for instance, which gives you more attacks, and you can pop Strife with it. It's really good in Strife because you can use the strat for reroll all wounds, so you can go searching for 6s just to try to really mortal wound somebody out. So that's a really combo. The Dark Creed warlord trait of shutting down OBSEC and stopping you from performing an action is super huge.
It's becoming more and more a thing, which is nice. So we're seeing it kind of in all the books. I hope orcs get a really cool one where they could just shut you down.
I like those shenanigans a lot. I mean, it adds to like we talk a lot. I mean, Daniel always wants more complexity, you know what I mean? Just to make the game more fun, more options and stuff like that. I like that a ton.
I like more complexity as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the more things you have options for, I think that it makes the game more fun, but it also as a top player, it allows you to use your skill to win games as opposed to just, dice back and forth, boom, boom. There's a lot of things that go into that.
So what do you guys think in terms of tournaments? We have, obviously we're going to be talking about the Motor City tournament on our channel, which is coming up in April, I think the 24th. We just had Glass City, which was awesome, with Jason and CK, right? Was the head TO, right, Brad?
Yep.
Yeah, that was good. So we have Motor City coming up, and then we have, I don't know what else, Brad, do you have other than that? I know we have the Chicago event in June.
Chicago event, I'm going to try to see if I can go to Atlantic City. That really depends on just, for
And then
me,
Atlantic
it depends
City,
on
yep.
just COVID numbers, telling the truth.
And then I think
for
there's the
where everybody's
Alamo GT in May, I believe. Do you think Dark Eldar takes first place at any of these? Do you think it's going to take a little bit of time for that to happen? I mean, first question is Sean Naden at any of these? Second question is, do you think Dark Eldar wins any of these
still going to
tournaments?
be running his combo. He's going to run a mix.
Combo doesn't
That's
count, so I'm throwing combo out.
It's
I
only
want to
Dark
know,
Eldar
does
Pure?
a Dark Eldar Pure 3 patrols most likely, right? I'm assuming.
I like the 3
I would
patrols
be
the
kind of
most.
surprised if it wasn't, but
Yes,
yeah, you think it
that-
wins?
Well, it depends, tell you the truth, because of the fact that a lot of things that are good now aren't exactly what people were playing. I mean, Dark Technomats are still very good, which people have, but I think the combination, I don't know how many people have like lots of Witch Cult stuff and things like Hellions and Reaver Jetpacks and stuff like that. So there might be a hobby delay.
Really? You'll have the whole army by Motor City, so.
Yes, but not everybody. I'm saying like across the nation.
Everybody's got to get a pajama pants.
Everybody needs a pajama pants. That's
Yeah,
what
man.
I'm talking about.
It's a must do.
100%.
Must do.
That's put them on your list. Get your pajama
Gotta
pants.
get yourself, check that off. Like, hey, where's my pajama pants guy? What am I wearing? I'm wearing Batman's today.
Nice. But I think that people are going to going through an entire tournament, going 5-0, 6-0 is going to be difficult with the Dark Eldar because there's always the chance that you play on that open board and you get blasted. Because again, they still have the glass.
Bowling ball.
Yeah. So it really depends.
I think terrain is going to be inconsistent. Terrain is going to be the bane of Dark Eldar.
100%.
Isn't that the bane of any good list, though? I feel like any list, well, most lists you make that are good are like really dependent on terrain, especially when they're damage output armies. Any damage output army, I think, is relying on some
like
kind of terrain.
if you play, I mean, most anything that plays against AdMech in an open board, if they go first, is kind of screwed. But you're super screwed if you're Dark Eldar because you have nothing to take the hit.
Yeah, it's too much little firepower.
They just evaporate your army. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's
So it's
definitely
going to
true.
be strong. It's going to be very strong, but it's going to be very player dependent, and it's going to be definitely you'll have to have at least mid-level terrain.
I haven't seen any lists in chat. For those who are listening in live today, if you guys have a list you want us to review, let us know. We'll shit all over your army list. Tell you how horrible it is. So you go back to the drawing boards. I shouldn't really talk because I did end up losing a really easy game at the last tournament I went to. So, but that's because I wasn't really there. I lost to Brad and then mentally checked out.
And then you smoke bomb.
I smoke bombs.
Was Brad the really easy game you really should have won, or?
No, Brad's game. I think I played as best as I could. I don't know. I don't really know.
I have to give you props on that. You played a
Yeah.
crazily good game.
I don't really know what else I could have done. I think if the aggressors die in the very beginning through shooting, the whole game is different. Because then he doesn't move up the attack bikes on the right flank. My Terminators have more play. Like there's just so much more if that doesn't happen. But it did, so it doesn't matter. So that's kind of how that game went. No, the Harlequin game after against Colin. It's like absolutely no business losing that game. Going back and looking at it over and over again, it's just so many different ways to win it. Just really poor play on my part. So took a lesson from that one, which was nice. So
It's the only time to learn.
I haven't been humbled in a while, so I humbled myself. I was like, you know what? Even when a game is really easy to win, and it doesn't matter how good or bad your opponent is, if you just sabotage yourself, you will still lose. So, this is true. But no, I'm interested to see if anyone does have a list you guys want us to review. Put those in the chat, and we'll get to them in a sec. Before we jump over to those, I did want to talk about. Have you guys heard about this thing? I don't know if what I heard is true or not. I was like, like late night, 1:15 in the morning, Facebook streaming, and I doubt even you guys will know. But is there something that Games Workshop is trying to do where you have to make the sound of the weapon in order to get like a bonus to it in the game?
What?
I swear to God, I saw this. Was this an April Fool's joke? Because if it was, it got me. It got me if it was, man. I'm telling you, bro. This got me if it was. I swear to God, I heard like you got to go pew pew to get like +1 as strength on your plasmas or something like that. Someone posted that. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell are they talking about?
That's probably not going to happen.
But I was just thinking about Daniel doing it against Brad. Like Daniel plays Brad and he's just like using his plasma guns and he has to say it. So apparently you have to do it at 90 decibels to get +1 strength. That's what I read.
That
So
seems
I
really
thought it was an amazing April Fool's joke, and I didn't know if you guys saw it.
I
No, I
did
haven't
not.
seen it.
I guess not. It's very sad.
Well,
Pretty
yeah,
sure all power weapons sound like
Rochester showing
gigantic.
up with a vengeance here.
That's good. I'm glad. All right, so here's a rule I'm going to ask you guys. I'm curious your thoughts. High strength weapons. High strength. I don't know where to draw the line, so I'm gonna ask you if the rule is even a good idea or a bad idea, and if it's even something we should mess around with 40K or just leave it the way it is right now. I was thinking, would it be interesting to see high strength weaponry allowing for damage rollover? So hypothetically, if you have a strength,
Yeah, I get
let's
what
say
you're saying.
10 weapon
I hate the fact they do it already in AOS, do they not?
for everything though, not just high strength. That's just all damage. But
yeah, it does bug me that when I hit something with a giant blast weapon and some one wound dude dies to my 6 damage that I did to him.
yeah, I was thinking strength 9 and higher. If you have strength 9 and higher, I was thinking that whatever damage you do should just become wounds. Like it should just carry over.
Like you could do the type too, because blast weapons are actually supposed to be splash weapons in the first place.
That's true. It could be only blast weapons and strength 9 or higher. I think that would be fine. I don't know. I was at the Glass City. I thought about it. I either saw a game or I was playing a game where there was like some high damage gun and like you just remove one model. And like that was kind of it. And I was like, man, that's weird. Like you just get hit with this massive weapon and like one guy dies. Like how much damage is that? 6 plus 9. So I don't think you can do strength 8 because there's too many melt-a-guns in the game, and then melt-a-guns become like a kill everything kind of thing. Like they kill big things, they kill little things, they kill all of it. But I was thinking if it was over strength 8 and maybe only applied to
volcano cannons.
Yeah, I mean, maybe only applied.
Units.
I think so, right? And maybe only applied to like blast weaponry. That would take care of melt-a-guns and multi-meltas. Even if there was a way to get him to strength 8 or 9. I don't know if there is in like a strat somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if there was. What are your thoughts?
I'd have to look more into what things, but I would definitely say blast. I would say blast. Has to be a blast weapon.
I don't do something like that. I don't see it being broken as it is, so I don't need to fix it.
Also true. So
you're fine with the current level of damage. You don't need. You don't care about making it.
No, I mean, I don't shoot a volcano lance on something that has 1 wound left.
You don't shoot a volcano lance anyways, though.
And then I'll shoot that lance on something else.
But you don't shoot. Yeah, but you don't shoot it anyways because you don't typically take that kind of stuff. Is what I'm saying, because there's no real advantageous reason to take them. You can get very effective vehicle killing or high toughness killing things without having to focus on weapons like that. But it would be interesting. I was just saying, like, would it shake up the game at all? Like, would you think about different things differently?
Oh, for sure.
Maybe.
You'd have to plan against things. I would go even more MSU than I already am. So.
Yeah.
The MSU.
Don't necessarily think anything good is coming out of it, because then it's like, yeah, I can take these super good weapons that kill tanks, but they also kill horde now, because. So it will just, I don't know. But I understand what you're saying, of course. But from my point of view, it isn't broken, so I don't need to fix it.
Okay, no, that's a good point. Yep, I just think that some of the stuff that's super high strength, like demolisher cannons. I think that someone just mentioned it. Strength 10. I think they're D6 damage. Right.
Yeah.
So like, that's a good example of something that would like go nuts, probably. Right. It would just be like super efficient.
Yeah.
But
yeah, especially from a tank commander that shoots 2d6, and then it's like, I killed 40 orcs
shots
with
every time. Make him hit on 2s.
That'd be awesome, though.
Your army just explodes.
Yeah.
Just kill everything. I love it.
All right, you guys are gonna love this first list. It's all about the funsies with this one.
Tell us your army list.
Tyranids, Kraken, release them. The Swarm Lord, a unit of 18 Hormagaunts, 3 Tyranid Warriors, and then we go into the not fucking around section, 3 Dimericons, and a Hierophant.
Too many Dimericons. No, there was a Swarm Lord, so that's good.
Yeah, so they can double move. This is the I'd like to play a game of 40K. I've got about a half hour. Let's do this.
I don't even know what the last guy does.
Oh, he's amazing. He's a giant winged He's a giant winged monster, like gargoyle. He can carry 20 gargoyles on him or more. I'm not sure how many. He's got like a gajillion wounds, like 26, probably 22, probably something like that. He's probably toughness 8. I would assume he's toughness 8.
He's 850 points, so
he
he's
flies.
not exactly cheap.
He usually comes with like I think it's 16 shots, strength 10, -3, 2 damage, something like that. He's got the 2 big guns, but they're smaller than the Bio-Titan's guns, but they're big still. So I think it's 8 shots per. I think I'm going off all memory here. I haven't read this guy's rules in maybe 7 years. He's pretty legit, and his rules probably updated too. So I'm not sure if they changed. 34 wounds now. He's still T8. That's awesome. Oh, it's the Titan. He's actually playing with the Titan, not the big wing guy. Oh shit. Okay, never mind.
As I'm saying, he's playing with the fucking.
He's playing with the guy with the legs, the big one. Oh, okay.
He's 850.
I thought that guy was way more expensive than 850. I thought he was like super pricey.
I mean, it's still 850. He just went. I thought he was way more expensive. I mean, he's super cheap. I mean, he's only half your army.
Well, I mean, he's really cheap for what he was. I'm pretty sure that model was like 1,400 points at one point. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. 16 shots, strength 8, flat 3 damage. Yeah, that's pretty much what I said.
Yeah, back in the day was the one where it had basically an ignore wounds, and it had effectively void shields, and it also had a fatal pain.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. There's a lot of big guys list coming in. I think we were talking about like only big demons last time. And
yeah, that's what Brad lost to that. It like literally pushed his shit in bad. Yeah, it was really funny.
Did not push my shit in bad. Thank you very much.
There was this huge monster called a Noodling, and it just said, "No, I will not die. I will take the objective and go to hell."
Fucking Gandalf and Noodling.
I have a hard time seeing how they play the missions, but I mean, if it works, it works.
I think they just table their opponent on 1. I think that's how most of these things work, right? I don't know, Brad, walk me through how you lost. Other than the fact that a Nurgling made 15 saves. Like, what did he do? He just bum rushed you, right?
He went boss mode. He just said, screw it, I'm going to go first. If I go second, I'm going to lose. I'm just going to go first.
So he just deployed on the line, and then everything went at you.
And went everything at me. And then I deep struck into his backfield with all the rest of my shit, came on. I killed him down to Morty in the end, but it took me forever to kill a Nurgling, which was basically like a 25 or 30 point swing because I did not take his objective from him because the Nurgling's offside. So I was also able to leave and kill some other shit with the Inceptors. So I had to use other units to do so. So it was just the thing is you play basically I kept playing chaos, big shit. And eventually you're just going to have a game where your opponent just rocks out saves and stuff. You know what I mean? You're just going to have that game statistically that happens. Yeah. And I tried to play around it, which was working, even though shit was going bad. But that goddamn Gandalf and Nurgling held the board. My opponent played a very aggressive, just all in, just this is how it's going to go.
So that's how that list worked out, right? And then this guy has 3 Democurons, a Biohive Tyrant, a Swarm Lord, and I think like some Gaunts. Yes, this list is yes from me. Yes, 100%. The only thing I regret...
it's definitely not...
I mean, I'm falling back to the same question mark, like, 850 points for one big guy and so on. But
34 wounds, bro.
34 wounds, I have a hard time seeing how you play...
It's not going to get through a lot of games and win because you're just gonna lose on.
Yeah, I mean, I killed.
You're gonna have fun killing shit though.
You guys are naysayers. This list is awesome. I love it. The only downside.
Don't get me wrong. I love all the big guy lists.
The only downside to this list is that the Doom of Malantai is not a model anymore because the Doom of Malantai needs to be in this list.
Fuck that thing.
Just to make it even more amazing. It needs the Doom of Malantai, baby.
That has caused me
Put that motherfucker in the list.
In my life.
You know what I want to do? I want to show up to a tournament, play Tyranids, put the Doom of Malantai in my army list, and then just like show the old rules, but like edited for 9th. And then just be like, look, he's a real model now. He came out in the Wife Dwarf, and everyone's like, oh wow, cool, all right, cool, and then like play my games.
It's so ridiculous, dude. It just you're like, hey, you're near me. I guess you're gonna take a whole bunch of wounds based on your leadership.
He was amazing. My favorite model ever.
Fuck that guy. I'm still mad about that. And that was what 3 editions ago.
So much fun. So much fun. Doom of
I'm
Valentine.
still angry.
All right, we got
Let's
some
get
more.
into,
We got some more.
Canada's
We
got
got some
everything.
more
We got,
lists, Brad.
We got some Harlequins for us.
Yeah.
We got a Soaring Spite.
Does he have? Does he have the -6 thing?
Fucking literally everyone has that.
Yeah, it's not a unique thing. Everyone has it. Everyone.
Alan
Does he have the
just found out,
-6
like,
range thing? I hate that thing,
Alan's
bro.
like, dudes, have you guys heard about this shooting?
God,
craze?
that thing is so good.
It is so good.
It's like if an orc list comes up and I'm like, does he have a weird boy? It's like every orc player has a weird boy, man. Like, what are you talking about?
So we've got a Fang Master. We've got 1, 2, 3 units of troops, all with fusion pistols. We've got 5-man unit of Skyweavers, Zephyrglaives, Haywire, 3 boats to put those guys in. Then we've got an Outrider Craftworld detachment with a Warlock, 2 units of Dire Avengers, 3 individual single Hornets, a 3-man unit of Shining Spears, 3 of them, and then 2 D-Cannon Wraith Seers.
Cool. What does he play on the Eldar part?
Say again?
What craft world?
I don't know. He doesn't have it on here. I was just assuming it was going to be Build-A-Bear. So I don't know what he's got on that.
Build-A-Bear. I don't know. It seems
fast.
good.
It's MSU. I like the idea of mixing Harleys and Eldars. It's probably better just to take pure Eldars, but I still like the idea of it. That's what I'm gonna try.
I prefer Harleys and I like Harleys and Craftwood a lot because you add some longer distance shooting.
What do you lose? What do you lose by breaking the full?
Nothing.
That's what I thought. Okay.
They don't have a book yet, so there's no super trait.
Okay.
So I mean, I do love. I think the race series are just so good now that they've got Runes of Battle. I think that's such a good thing. Yeah. These are also his. While the race series are his While We Stands, along with the Skyweavers if he wants to. Just want to make sure. Yep. Hornets are super good for their price. They've got decently long range shots. He's got double bright lance on them and they also come with the pulse laser. So you've got a good amount of pew pew in this, and it's very, very fast. Yep. And it's got the ability to play the missions. So I like this list
fun
a lot.
To play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it definitely is fun. It's probably a very fun to play army, right? Because it's got a lot of speed. I just don't know. Does Dark Eldar do all of this better though now?
Yes and no, but they don't have psychics. You know what I mean? So you are missing out on an entire phase in the game. In this list, I would like to see the
worst phase of the game.
Farseer as opposed to a Warlock, because Doom or Executioner Smite is just the best mortal wound battery in the game, basically for cheap. Because you can get 3d3 mortals. It's so good, and it gets you out of so many shenanigans, especially when characters and nonsense get into your backfield. You can just slam some mortal wounds on that. So I'd like to see that. I love race seers.
Whose list is that? Did you say that was Diego's list?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not playing White Scars. He's been running White Scars.
I'm sort of liking the list. I think it's nice.
It's a solid list. It's a solid list. Like I said, I would like to see the Farseer in it, for sure.
I like seeing Hornets again. I don't know.
Hornets are good.
I don't know if they move before the game like they used to.
They're not as cool as my. I still prefer the Warwalkers because I like doing Warwalker shenanigans, but they're still awesome. Both are awesome.
Do Hornets move before the game like they used to, or no? Is that a thing still? Is that strat or anything? I don't know.
Scout move?
Probably wouldn't waste it on a strat anyways, even if it did exist. But yeah, I think Hornets used to move before the game started back in the day.
Yeah, outflank. So
yeah, they were cool. I like those guys.
Oh, he plays. He's playing Crafter and ignores cover. I was kind of assuming that's what you're going with, but it did not say so. But
I like it. Did Shadow Specters get any better? Or are they still super expensive and like meh?
They're good. No. But they did lose. They got Blast, but they lost the Flamers. You actually have to roll it out.
Boo.
I got a list. I got a big guy list for you. Some big boys. I got all of the Thousand Suns for us.
I love my big guys.
We got a Demon Primarch, Supreme Commander of the Thousand Suns, Magnus the Red. We've got a battalion of Alpha Legion, Dark Disciples, 2 of them. HQ, Chaos Lord and Terminator armor. The Mark of Slanesh, the Viper's Bite, We Are Alfarius. Dark Apostle with, what's he got here? Warp Side Play, Mark of Slanesh also. Then we've got a Mark of Zinch Sorcerer, taking Weaver and Smite. We've got 3 units of Cultists because, well, you need some troops because, well, that's the
This
thing.
does not sound like a big guy's list, but keep going.
Hold, please, because it fucking brings double Chaos Leviathan Dreadnoughts.
Nice.
With not fucking around with the double Storm Cannon, double Volkite.
I thought you were going to have Lord of Skulls in the Alpha Legion. I was getting excited, but whatever. It's okay. Go ahead.
And then a big-ass brick of 20 Rubric Marines so that he can put them, wherever he wants, in the middle of the board. And then we've got triple 5-man Raptors.
Okay.
Thoughts?
It's not a big guy list.
It's not a big guy list. It's definitely.
Big dreadnoughts.
Yeah, it's not as maybe
because
yeah. I mean,
it's tall.
Respective.
I bet you that whole list could reach the top shelf.
Respective of Brad, it's a big guy list. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, is everything a big guy list then?
Yeah, I got Brad a Grande at Starbucks, and I was like, I handed it to him, and when he picked it up, I was like, oh man, let me tell them I'm so sorry. Hey guys, don't give me a Venti. I asked for a Grande, guys. Like, I don't want a Venti. Like, and I was like, oh wait, no, never mind. It's just Brad's little hands, little tiny little hands.
If there's no Lord of Skulls, get this shit out of here.
Who said that? Yes, that's what I was talking about. No, it's a very different army. I have no idea really how it would play. I like Magnus. I like the shooting. The dreads are cool. It's got screening. It's got some cagey play with the Raptors. I'm not really sure what Raptors are doing. They die so easy. Like, my Raptors die when people just kind of like look at them the wrong way. Yeah. So
it's because they're chaos and have 1 wound.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to see some more synergy with Magnus and some more Thousand Suns casters to really, if you're going to bring Magnus, I'd like to see some more guys that are benefiting from the reroll ones.
Or the +2 to cast if you're within 3 psychers. That's nice too.
Yeah, I mean, I would just like to see more of that. I mean, Chaos Leviathan Dreadnoughts, Leviathan Dreadnoughts, like, for whatever reason, people just decided they weren't good. Those things are still bang. Yeah,
the Rubric Marines are probably the best thing in that whole army because he takes mid-board with them.
I like the Rubrics.
And, like, they're very difficult to get through, as you know, Brad. And because of that, like, he's able to kind of take some board presence early, secure it with Magnus as a counter, and then shoot through fire lanes with the dreads. And then I'm assuming the Raptors are like doing actions, and if they need to, they can get far and threaten something small. Like the Raptors can go kill like Nurglings or 10 cultists or like a squad of guardsmen or like a small unit of gaunts, something like that. They can kill all those things. Even 5 of them can. They're not World Eater ones, so they're not as good, but they're not terrible. So I mean, they're -1 ren, still strength 4, so it's not terrible.
I like the rubrics in the middle a lot. I think the rubrics are great for just slamming down, especially when you get mid-game missions where you have a objective in the mid-board. It's super.
Oh yeah, I love my rubrics. I wish I had 20 actually. I just decreased it to 15 recently in my current list.
The Leviathan Dreadnoughts put down some. I would just like to see more Thousand Suns casters. Tell you the truth, just to benefit more from Magnus.
Yeah, no, it's a really fun army. I think it's pretty cool. I don't have no problem with it. I don't think it's like anything crazy, but it's fun.
It puts out he's got some nasty shit. The funny thing is that when you put Magnuses and other shit out there, you know what I mean? You put out Magnus or a chicken or whatever. Weirdly enough, those dreadnoughts seem to just survive so much more because you're like, oh no, I got to deal with this shit. And these guys are in the back going, typically we get shot at, but now instead we don't. It just pew pew.
Now I just want to make a list with that giant flying Tyranid monster that I was talking about earlier. Like I just want to see if I want to go read his rules like ASAP.
Alan's still a ways back. He's like, just can't get off.
Dude, I can't get off of that right now. That was cool. I mean, we got a Bio-Titan army list as a potential here. I love it.
Yeah, Brian just got into that. He goes, by the way, double moving a Titan is super fun.
Yeah. Seriously, man. Like I'm dead serious. Like chat came through today. I like later chat, early chat, bunch of trolls. Later chat, awesome. Awesome.
What do you mean? You mean our normal chat? Got
it. Yeah, our normal chat, bunch of trolls.
We're literally we have a doorman that only lets the trolls in. We're like, hold on, you got your troll card? Come on, man.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. I think it's the Harridan. I think that's the one I thought it was. It's only 700 points. Nice.
That's a bargain. Jesus.
They really
Take it.
Get
are
that one on the
nice.
clearance aisle. Yeah, take 2.
Yeah, this is the one, man. It goes 20 inches to 45 inches, or it can fly 20 to 25. I got to read all its rules. But yeah, this is the one I like. It's strength 10, -3 rend, 6 damage flat in close combat, and it rerolls 1s to hit with 6 attacks. Seems pretty cool.
Us trolls have feelings too.
Us
All the trolls came back at me. Fighting words.
Yeah, the Harridan. I just like kind of want one now. I thought that was what was in the list, and now I just like thought of painting it and like building it, and I was like, ooh, that'd be a fun project.
So because you are the Mr. Guest guy, and you did it very successfully in our a lot of the upcoming releases and whatnot. We know we have AdMech. They showed that. After AdMech, give me the next few codexes you think will hit the board.
Sisters.
I don't know,
Sixers?
actually. It's a good question. Yeah, I think orcs are going to get a book, or they're going to make uroks like a thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think, didn't GW release like a whole bunch of stuff? I heard that like sisters are coming out. I heard that they're going to make a squat codex and like that.
Don't say that. I
I'm
thought
so
my
in.
spot models.
Yeah, I think they're going to make a squat
I'm
codex.
so
I'm
angry
serious.
with this too. You're like, yeah, I threw them away.
Uh,
You're like, would you have wanted those? I'm like, yeah,
I think
so
that
much.
I think they're making like a Vespid codex too, like a Tau helpers, Tau and friends, but not Tau, just Tau friends.
Tell friends.
I feel like they went to the guy who like is like they went to Dave over at GW and they were like, "Hey Dave, by the way, Dave's a fictitious character. Hey Dave, can you fix the Tau codex?" And he's like, "I don't even know where to start." You know, and like they're like, "All right, well, it's due in 2024. Go." So like he's got like years to make it work. Like we'll be in 11th edition by then. By the way, eighth
Is
edition.
Dave showing up at the next Chicago tournament? Is that your new alter ego?
No, my next ego is Rex Buckingham, special agent. That's my next alter ego.
I still love for anybody that hasn't heard.
I'm gonna bring a
about
handgun
this,
with me.
Alan shows up
Super in
for one
character.
to surprise me, to fuck with me at tournaments, telling me he's not coming, and then shows up under a different name, and it's beginning so much more extravagant what he does with this. He has a backstory, he had fake tattoos for the last one, and a long, like a developed backstory. Like he's a secret agent now.
This is my new
tournaments.
character. My former character was Dr. Van Nostrand.
Yeah.
My next character is Rex Buckingham, special
I'm
agent.
very excited to see
Weapon
the
specialist.
next incarnation of what you show up at the tournament as. I mean, you've already said now I'll know to look for this guy though. You
Yeah.
can't just show up. So
Well, I mean,
Alan,
we
supposed to
are
give me
rooming
models?
we are rooming together, so I was like, there's really
Oh,
no
that's
reason to
true.
surprise you because we were like,
Good
hey,
point,
let's get
good
a
point.
hotel room together, and you were like, yeah, that sounds great, let's do that, and I was like, all right, sounds like a
Alan literally was telling me at the last tournament, there's no way he's coming. No way he's coming. I'd really like to, but I can't come. I'm really a bit disappointed about it. And he's having some models that I needed for the tournament. And he's like, oh yeah, he's like so nonchalant about it. He's like, I'm going to give them to somebody. I'm like, can I know that's somebody? Like, he's like, I'll give them to maybe Gary. Maybe, I don't know. Somebody will have them. And I'm like, okay, but I kind of need them for the tournament. So then all of a sudden, out of nowhere,
Oh,
I
dude.
just turn around and Alan's there, and I'm like, I don't even know who this is, but you got models for me. What
yeah.
the
I had
fuck's
a
going on here?
full tattoo sleeve. I had a chest tattoo just in case anyone like questioned my tattooing. I was good to go,
Carmona
man.
Industries.
Carmona
supplied
Industries.
your list.
Yep, my list was made by Carmona Industries. Oh, dude, Hunter's got me on point here. Yep, Burt Macklin has got to be one of my aliases for one of these tournaments eventually. So that's gonna happen for sure. But
I feel that you're going to be pretty deep down in. You got to start making it goals. You got to start. You have to get 5 tournament wins a year under different names now.
done. new goal of mine.
You're
I'm gonna
like,
do this.
well, technically I'm the ITC winner.
I mean,
but you
if
have to form Voltron into pajama pants.
if I can go back in time, man, I would have so done this. I would have so like tried my best, like when I had more time and like career life wasn't so much of a thing. if I could just go to events all the time and like stack up like 12 events in a year, like easily, and then like, you know, do 4 aliases, all of which have 4 events minimum, 5 events. Maybe I'd have to go 15 events, and they'd all have 4, 5 events each. And try to get 2 names.
You want to be the top 3 at ITC?
I just want to be like 2 names in the top 10, or like 3 names in the top 10, or you know what I mean? And be like, hey, these are all the same guy. You know, it could just be so.
They're just
fun.
giving out awards. They're like, all right, we need Rex Buckingham. And you're like, all right, you're welcome.
It would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Dirk Diggler. All right, you're like, did Alan just collect a bunch of? You should get all of the best faction.
Yeah.
Win all of them.
Yeah, that'd be
Space
hilarious.
Marine best faction. That's me too.
That's me too. Hey, what's up, guys? No, that'd be great. But the truth is I don't have the time to do that, and I'm no longer good at 40K, so I can't do that. So
I'm very disappointed that this
who
didn't
knows?
happen.
Who knows when the next event I win will even be, or if it will be. It's fine. I had fun.
That was sad.
It was a
That
good
was very
run.
sad.
It was a good run. It was a good run. But you know what will happen, Brad? More ponies.
I like that. Corey does have a good point on that. At the ITC award ceremony, you have to do that, but before you accept each award, you would have to get the costume change.
Change costume. God damn it, Corey. This is happening now. You've made this a reality.
You're like,
All right.
I'm almost positive that's Alan.
It doesn't mean anything until like the full ITC season is back, so I don't care about it this year, but we'll try to do this next year for sure.
I love everything about this.
Try to get.
Gentlemen,
I mean, it's gonna be hard to change your
he is 9 feet tall.
Hard to change what? You broke up, Daniel.
change.
Daniel, you broke up. What'd you say?
It's gonna be hard to change the facial hair between each costume change.
I can
So
get
I do a
fake ones.
mustache.
I can get fake ones. I can get fake ones. Put those on
He's gonna
instead.
have big lamb chop sideburns for one, just going up there.
Dilbert Clytus.
Exactly. As long as one outfit requires a fat suit.
Oh,
I mean,
done.
weirdly enough, Alan keeps running to the bathroom between each award announcement.
I wore a fat suit in Feast of Blades. They had a sumo wrestling contest in the main lobby. It was fun. I had a really good time. Just like running and charging people back when I had a full chest. And it all worked. It all worked efficiently.
Before you lost a necromancer battle?
Before those days, yes. Yes. Was a good time. But yeah, I don't know. Do we have any other lists, Brad?
All we got is a list of dance moves we're gonna do as we dance our way out of here.
Oh, I love the transition.